Alright, let's just get this over with. I mean, seriously. Michael Bay isn't doing it? Okay. How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Hope you're having a tip-top day today. A lot of unexpected things to happen. Did you see the third installment in a franchise that seems to be getting quite stale and yet has completely changed the game? Bad Boys for Life. And we're not talking life imprisonment here. We're talking about life, and this franchise is certainly not dying anytime soon. Directed by Adil Arbi and Bilall Fallah. Once again, starring Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. Bringing in some fresh blood. Vanessa Hudgens, Alexander Ludwig, Charles Melton, Paola Núñez, and Jacob Skippo. Still maintaining the storyline and bringing in some of our old favorites. Cypher, aka Joe Pantoliano, is back in it, as well as DeeJsee, the hot-headed wife, showing that at any point in time, your past can come back to haunt you. But how does this one hold up against the other two? Let's kick it into the good. So one of the biggest changes that many people obviously been talking about is the fact that Michael Bay is no longer at the helm, but instead actually kicking back in a fucking cameo. And it was very surprising to see him. It was good to at least include him to show that his property given respect. And respect is something that fully shows. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence are back at it again, and they are fantastic. And I cannot believe I'm about to say these words. Martin Lawrence is one of the best parts of the film. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. This guy on screen was not the same person. He was actually pulled back from his old ways. He decided to try something different. Put this guy in more films. His scenes almost made me teary-eyed. In a Bad Boys film, the emotion that just pours out of him is unlike anything I've ever seen before. Especially in an action film. There's real depth with each and every character interaction that you see. Everyone is caring for someone, and the chemistry between every single actor flows. These guys are having fun with each other. But you feel as if you haven't wasted your money on this. But I'll tell you one thing, this is dark. It didn't feel like a Bad Boys film, but in a very good way. The storyline, the way that it portrayed itself, there were so many shocking moments that there were times where I was actually jumping out of my seat. The cinematography was on point. Bad Boys for Life's Miami looks, feels, and just oozes sunny vibes and good times. The action is insane, but just enough insanity to keep it at a good pace and holds your attention until the very end. The slow-mo was perfect. There were no more fast forwards in play here. It's because they know something's going to be epic and they want you to see it. Definitely worth the experience. This buddy cop comedy is still funny. I was laughing at every single joke that was being said. It didn't need to be millennial. It is an amazing, awesome, fun time. But unfortunately, we already know there's always bad. The movie is fantastic. One gripe that I have, sequel bait. Now, I'm someone who was not a fan of sequel bait because it just feels like they needed another reason to get people back in the seats. You didn't need to. Leave it at that. A few times the jokes were a little unnecessary and mostly cringy, especially from Martin Lawrence. He is both the best and worst part of this movie. Quite frankly, I think I'm kind of used to it now. Some of the characters sort of snapping out of their moments. Character arcs that don't fully complete themselves. Little moments that are supposed to be adding into the end of it. It's either not shown enough or given nothing. With the new dogs, they could have been given a lot more time. I loved to see the frequency that was happening between the old cop duo and the High School Musical group. It was great to see all of them on screen. Vanessa Hudgens felt like she was just pulled back. Charles Melton at times was a little bit cringy, but I still would have liked to have seen more between that dynamic of Will Smith and him constantly confronting each other. There was some really sudden weather changes. Like, it could go from day to night to day to midnight to rain to sun to shine to... It felt like Melbourne. And if you live in Melbourne, you know exactly what I mean. It's not gonna change my opinion. I loved this movie. The action, the jokes, the way that the characters interacted with each other. It all felt fresh. And unbelievably, this came out in 2020. 17 years after the second one was released. You can teach old dogs new tricks. These guys, they ain't good men. They are bad boys. But this movie is by no stretch bad. I'm happy to announce, I just tooted my own horn. You'll know from the previous reviews. Bad Boys for Life gets... Good God, good God, what the fuck? Bad Boys for Life. Now, I always like to end my reviews from a quote from the film. So many of them that I just couldn't decide on which one I wanted to choose. But I went with one that was close to my heart. Shit! It's like HD! Most relatable. You know it when you see it. But that being said, did you see it? Will you see it? And if so, let me know in the comments. Until then, I've been DJ, and always remember, did you see it? Thank you for delivering us such a great movie. Proves the sequels don't really need to suck all the time. See exactly how other movies this month go. One in particular.